Hello, fellow Patriots, and welcome back again. Welcome to a new episode of Get to Know a Patriot, where I go around the country, I interview Canadians from across the country, influential Canadians who are active within the Patriot community and beyond. Today we're going to be having Sandra Solomon joining us. We just tried to get her live on Facebook here just a moment ago, but we experienced a little bit of a technical difficulty. Sometimes those things happen. So we're going to try to get her back on with us, and hopefully everything runs smoothly. Sending Sandra the invite right now. And as I said before, Sandra Solomon has done an amazing job going across the country, spreading her message, attending various rallies and protests, and she has a wealth of knowledge at her disposal. She knows a lot about the religion. She's experienced it firsthand. She's talked with many other former Muslims, as well as people who are just very interested in what is going on, very concerned about the radical Islam that we're experiencing both here in the West and obviously in the Middle East, regions like North Africa, and even Burma. Kevin Johnson right now has been reporting on that. So yes, there are a lot of Canadians who are very concerned about what's happening, and they're proactive about it. They're not just typing away on the computer. They're not just talking about it. They're actually attending rallies. They're talking to MPs, and that's really what this show is all about. This show is all about giving Patriots out there a chance to have an inside look at the various Patriots within the community, be able to just network on a different level. I encourage everybody to follow Sandra Solomon, get in touch with her on, hey, there she is right now. Sandra, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem. Hi, Ronnie. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Sandra, is Facebook the best way for people to follow you?
Yes, for now, and my website, just in case, to get contact with me, www.voiceofsandrasolomon.com. Just in case if I got blocked from Facebook, and which is a lot, it happened. And I have the YouTube channel, Voice of Sandra Solomon.
Okay, so you can follow her here on Facebook, you can follow her on YouTube, and she has her own website as well. And like she just said, a lot of people get zapped on Facebook. It happens very often, so it's good to have these various platforms. And right now, you're actually using your Sarah Smith account because your Sandra Solomon account was suspended or deactivated.
It's blocked. I can see everything. I'm blocked for 30 days. I cannot share, I cannot post, I cannot go live. Yeah.
That's horrible.
Exactly, and they blocked me for no reason. They blocked me for no reason. They didn't say. They said, "Oh, it seems that you posted something. It doesn't fit Facebook community standard." That's it. We're blocking you.
Just a vague message like that, and then you're gone.
Yeah, that's it.
And I never see you like you're the last person to be promoting hate or violence or anything like that. So it's just it's very unfair for the right that we have our patriots and activists shut down like that. Sandra, when did you first immigrate to the West? When did you first leave the Middle East to come join the quality of life that is offered here in the West?
Yes, I was very lucky to be able to come to Canada through my ex-husband. We landed 2004, and then, but I was fighting for the divorce. I made sure until I got a hold of my documents, which was very hard for me for 4 years fighting for the divorce, and then I came back 2005 alone as a single mom with my baby. He was only 3 years and a half. So 2005 officially.
So since 2005, you've been here for a little while now. What was it like living under Islamic control? What was it like living under Sharia law?
Okay, for a woman, it's like it's hell. I see, as we are young, we don't feel the impact of it, and basically, like from my childhood, I still remember between like 10 and 11, I witnessed the beheading myself. There was like execution square in Saudi Arabia.
So you actually witnessed the beheading yourself?
Yes.
At what age?
Between 10 and 11.
Wow. I couldn't imagine so was it like
it's terrifying.
A scenario where they kind of had like a big opening in the public for people to view, and you happen to be around? That's
exactly
horrible.
Exactly what we see now in the videos, ISIS, Taliban, all these terrorist groups, what they do publicly, and kids open, everyone can come and watch, even videoing, it's okay. and no minimum age for it. Kids as age of 6 years, 7 years, they can come and watch. You know, it's there's no such a thing called like, oh no, you're a child, you cannot see this and all that. So basically, this is what like it was a terrifying, scene for me, and I
Yeah, I
still
can
remember it.
imagine.
I still remember it, and with the big man with the big sword and say Allahu Akbar and behead the person. And all this execution square, it's in many areas in Saudi Arabia. So in many cities, Saudi Arabia, it's a big country. So I was raised
Hmm.
in Jeddah, Jeddah close to Mecca. It's like 1 hour driving to Mecca, very close to Mecca. So we went to Mecca many times as we were young. We did the Umrah, it's like not Hajj, the pilgriming. So basically, I
Hmm.
went around the black cubes, running around as we were young, and we practiced, uh, the ritual, whatever Islamic ritual, the prayer. We did like also in Ramadan, we went many times because the fact it's not far. So my dad used to take us a lot as we're young to Mecca. And as I said, as we're young, we don't feel the impact. We don't understand exactly. We just grow up into it. And they always tell us in school, you should be proud that you're Muslim. You should thank Allah you are Muslim. We are the best ummah. We are the best nation. We are the one who's having the only people on the earth who worship the only one God, the oneness of God, and Tawheed in the Islamic terminology for it. So basically, as we're
Hmm.
young, I did not feel it, but I start feeling the impact of the living under Sharia law as I grow up at mid school to high school, mainly high school. I start to feel uncomfortable. I start to
Around
realize.
high school, you started to feel uncomfortable. You started to kind of question things and see that as a woman, you weren't being treated right. This religion was the result of kind of this separation between the sexes. Men are treated one way, women are treated another way. Does that start happening in the school systems? Does that start happening at a young age?
Yes, as I said, between mid school to high school, gradually started with me the fact that they force us like as we are in elementary school and then mid school and then high school. We as age of 9, I we moved to Saudi Arabia when I was 9 years old. Okay, from Jordan to Saudi Arabia, my father find a big good job there, so we all moved there. So basically, we were forced to wear the hijab, the coverage of the head, and slowly slowly we were forced to cover the face. Mid school they start forcing us covering the face, and the school
So you
segregate.
actually had your face forcefully covered
Yes, and
in the burqa, the typical burqa type of.
all covered,
Wow.
head to toe. It has to be all
How did
covered.
you feel about that? Were you okay with that? Did it
Of
make it, did
course.
you feel like something was wrong or did it just seem normal?
No, no, no. I hated it. I hated it. Every time I will like put it on my face, I feel like shocked. Even the hijab itself, like I start slowly, slowly hating the hijab, the whole cover. They call it abaya, the black one. It has to be black, all black.
Okay.
All women in Saudi Arabia wearing the same thing. You go to street, you go to the mall, you go everywhere. It's all same uniform. We all
Yeah.
have to wear the black, head to
I
toe.
noticed that in the pictures, it's not even that you have to be covered. It's you're blacked out. It's like
Black.
you're literally blacked out from society. You know what I mean? Like that
Exactly.
typical censor bar that you see. Aside
Yes,
from the eyes, that's basically what's happening to them. I just
exactly.
want to ask everybody right now, is the reception nice and clear? Can you see both of us? If anything's off or if it's kind of laggy, just throw that up in the comment section and we'll try to adjust it. But it seems nice and clear and smooth here on my end. I'd also like to take this time right now to ask everybody to please share this video. Please slap down a like and as well hit that notification button so you can see all my future live videos. And Sandra Solomon has a really unique perspective to offer here. So I think a lot of people would be really interested in hearing of her experience as well as what she's working on here in Canada. So how old were you, Sandra, when you left Islam, when you decided to leave the Islamic religion and no longer be a part of that?
Yes, before I answer this question, the whole hijab thing, because we see it here in Canada, girls young as age of 6 or 7 or like they still wearing the hijab and all that. The whole story starts with the candy. This is what the whole story starts with candy. The concept of if your meat it's valuable. You are valuable. You need to be covered, and so the fly don't come. So the open candy, the fly will come on it. The covered candy, the fly will not come on it. So basically, this is what they give the girls in school as a sample, for them to fall in love with hijab, for them to feel like, yeah, hijab, it's my protection. Men, they're not
Yeah,
gonna sexually assault me. Men, they're not gonna sexually, see me as a sex object. You know what I mean? All these kind of
yeah,
propaganda and all these brainwashing. And
yeah,
not only hijab, you need to stay home. You have a
mhm,
guardian. You have to. Allah created you as a Muslim woman. You are not like kafir women and infidel women who cheap meat, and their meat it's open. The candy it's open for any man. They're cheap.
yeah,
They go and come, and they're easy to have sex with anybody and everywhere. They're objected to have open for sexual harassment
yeah,
or being raped. So if you
yeah.
got
What
raped, if you take off your hijab, if you got raped, that's your fault because you take off your hijab.
exactly, Sandra? Exactly. That's what I'm seeing more and more of within Islamic countries and the religion itself. It's almost like it's the woman's fault, and it's complete opposite to the feminist movement that we have here in the West. That's trying to like align itself with Islam. That the two are incompatible. With that analogy, what they fail to realize is that they originally assume that a woman is a piece of meat, that a woman is nothing but a candy that needs to be
Object.
wrapped. There's nothing
Exactly.
more to
Nothing.
what a to womanhood than just simply being a sex object. So if we don't cover her up, the sex hungry men are just going to run and grab her. So the problem
Exactly.
with the Islamic ideology is that first they assume men are nothing but these wild sex animals that are ready to rape anything that's available, and two, they don't look at women as anything more than a sex object that needs to be covered and only revealed to her man at home. It's so degrading, it's so
And
wrong,
yet,
and I'm really glad that you bring up that analogy.
yes, and yet, they marry off young girls as age of 9, still wearing the hijab.
It's
This is my
insane.
hero. Let me introduce my hero to everyone. For this girl, it gives me the power. It gives me every day. As I look at this book, I keep myself as I promised. I will continue fighting for the right of these girls. Her name is Nujud Ali. She was forced into the marriage at 9 years old, yet wearing the hijab, and she fought for her divorce at age of 10 and divorced. She was raped and tortured. And yet,
Wow.
her hijab did not prevent the man taking her as a sex object and rape her, or her family was easy for them to
Right.
give her away for marriage. So basically, it's all propaganda, it's all lie. One of the reasons that I start also the hijab, it was the first red flag for me, and the way we're being treated as well. I felt like I need to fight for my dignity. I start to rebel. I start to question. I start to analyze and criticize Quran itself as a book, and I start to see like where is the woman right in under Sharia law? No right. I couldn't speak up my mind. I was kicked up from school many times. I was tortured physically from my brother many times. Like when I say torture, maybe the word it doesn't even describe exactly what I went through. I would stay in bed for good 1 week, 2 weeks, bruises all over my body, blue, big one, like bruises. I cannot move.
Because you
Uh,
refuse to wear the hijab.
because I'm refusing, because I'm calling for my freedom, because I'm calling for my right not to have a guardianship, not to have a man controlling my life. I wanted to continue my education. I wanted to be independent. I want them to see me for who I am, to respect
Right.
to respect me as a human being,
Right.
as a person who, as I have a brain, I'm thinker. I'm a critical thinker. I criticize anything and everything. I never submit
Right.
to nothing. I don't just submit. I don't follow. I lead.
Mm-hmm.
I don't wanna, like, you know what I mean. If I'm like, I like the civil discussion, and one of the things that
Yes.
it makes me just like fully completely leave the whole thing after I was even house arrest. After many time, my brother attempted to murder me, like literally with the knife, and thanks God it.
Your brother attempted to murder you?
Yes, many times. And if it wasn't my grandmother, she was like kind of my guardian angel. She was like a kind of mother to me. And many times she would come between us, you know, and she would be like, please, she's screaming to him, crying to him not to do,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, to protect me. You know what I mean? She was,
And there's nobody else that you could count on or go to for
no,
help. Not the
no,
authorities, not another family
no,
member, no families or neighbors.
no, no. In Saudi Arabia, it's very, very hard. And the fact that we're not Saudi native, you know what I mean? That's another thing. Yes, we're Palestinian living in Saudi Arabia because we've been treated as a second-class citizens. That on top of that, you know what I mean? In Saudi Arabia. So basically, I had no freedom. I couldn't talk. I couldn't speak. I couldn't fight for my right to live the lifestyle that I want. All what they think that I'm asking for my freedom because I want to remove the cover and go
Yeah.
ahead and go ahead.
Yes.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? This is all what
I
they
know
think.
exactly what you mean.
So I'm like, no, I want to continue my education. I'm like, I don't want to do things that brings the shame because all what they
Yeah.
think is
Yeah.
honor. Honor, the bottom part of the woman, that's all what this is the honor for them. So this is the honor
Yeah.
killing that my brother, if my, let's say if my brother fully like if he killed me in Jordan, okay, he would have not go to jail. For you to know, the law, it doesn't matter in every Muslim country. If a brother killed his sister, even his mother, or someone killed his wife or his sister or his a male, the guardian, the one who's responsible, if he killed her, they don't go to jail. They actually celebrate them. And
I've seen this very thing presented in documentaries. Me and my girlfriend were watching one where there's literally a lawyer who advocates for families that have killed family members for these reasons. Honor killings are very much supported, even in countries like India. It's
yes,
not just strictly the Middle East or, for
yes,
instance, Muslims. Hindus
yes,
also as well practice this, but
yes.
I think it is much more common within Islamic nations, and that's something
Sharia law.
you've
Yes.
you've witnessed firsthand. And this is what people need to understand. Sandra Solomon has come on camera and said, I've witnessed beheadings. I've had my brother beat me and come at me with a knife for not wearing a hijab. This religion is completely incompatible with the West, and this is what these people want to bring to our country. Sharia law is creeping its way into our system, and thank God that we have former Muslims, ex-Muslims like Sandra Solomon, who's willing to come out. And you risk a lot saying what you're saying right now, don't you, Sandra? As from what I'm hearing, a lot of different people that I've talked to, it's very scary. You literally risk your life going against the word of Allah, being a Muslim apostate. So, have you experienced any? Have you received any hate mail? Have you received any death threats or anything like that? Tell us about the backlash that you've received from the Muslim community.
Basically, to start from my family, they all disowned me and they said to me, if the day you landed to Jordan, we will make sure your brother will kill you. So basically, I cannot go
Wow,
back to Jordan at all. They disown me. They don't
your
talk
own
to me.
brother will kill you if you go back to Jordan.
Yes, yes,
That's
definitely.
insane, Sandra.
They
I'm
won't hesitate. They won't hesitate. They will do it. So that's
that's
one. Yeah, that's the truth. And that's one thing. And I would say like lots of Muslims they were bashing me on Facebook, and lots of them they would say, "May Allah take you. May Allah curse you. We wish you die. We wish you be killed," and all that stuff. Like, and I'm
yeah,
openly, always calling Muslims in a very loving, peaceful way. Prove me wrong. You don't have to send me
right.
threats. You don't have to curse
Yeah.
me. You don't have to say,
Hmm.
may Allah take you, whatever. Like, who's freaking Allah, man? Like, I don't care about your Allah. Like, you know, take me, you cannot take me because to me is nothing. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be, you know, I'm
Yeah.
not terrified from their, but the fatwa, it's been issued 1400 years ago from Muhammad himself, the founder of Islam, when he said, whoever changes his religion, kill him. And right after the death of Muhammad, there was thousands of Muslims who left Islam. They've been slaughtered. When I say slaughtered, that means slaughtered with the swords.
Hunted
There was
down
a
and killed, no questions
right,
asked.
yes, because the first caliphate Abu Bakr, they call it Harb al-Ridda, the apostate war. The apostate war, because there many of them they left Islam. They say that's it, Muhammad is gone. Who cares? That's it. They kind
If
of
you
to
can,
them.
Sandra, type that into the comment section afterwards when the video is done, because it's very hard for me to remember the names, and it would be basically impossible for me to try to Google search that, just because the pronunciation. And that's what I really appreciate. With what you bring to the table as well, is you know all the terminology, you know all the words, you speak the language. They can't sneak one past you. You know what I mean?
No,
They can't say, "Oh, you don't understand Arabic, you don't understand the Quran." No, you understand it all. So
actually,
that's something that I.
in Saudi Arabia, the education system in Saudi Arabia, 90% it's Islamic teaching every day. Imagine every day, like now we see the creeping, the teaching of Quran in here in Canada. So
Yeah.
basically, imagine with me, kids, all what they are learning, it's one book, basically. And the Quran, every day we will have the classes. The first class will be memorizing Quran. The second class, tajweed, meaning how to recite the Quran, in the musical kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And the third
Mm-hmm.
class will be the fiqh, tawheed, the tajweed, and the other one, the life of Muhammad, hadith. And imagine all day we're just studying Islamic Sharia law. Not like other subjects as we grow, like a little bit,
Yeah.
even the history of King Fahd and King Al Saud, so, not a really, not, we're not getting good education there. It's all Islamic. And
It's all
even
religiously based.
basically, exactly, all Islamic, memorize the Quran, just memorize. And we have to know what's according to Sharia law, what's the hudud, mean the punishment, what's halal, what's haram, what's legal, what's not legal, how can we bring Sharia law as a political
Right.
system. The history of Muhammad and his conquests, they call it in Arabic al-Futuhat al-Islamiyya, conquest, the opening, they call it opening, and how Islam,
Mm-hmm.
we've been like the oath that we have to give in school every day, that like we have to repeat it all the time, like as if like we're holding the hand like this as we're kids.
Yeah, like the
Islam is
Lord's
our
Prayer type thing.
exactly, like Hi Hitler, same. The
Wow.
Nazism, same, like like this. And we have to open, like put the hand like this and say, Islam is our religion, Muhammad is our prophet, the Quran it's our constitution, Jihad it's our way, and dying for Allah it's our ultimate dream. This is,
The
since we are
ultimate
kids,
dream is to die for Allah.
to die for Allah. So
Little
I grew
kids are
up,
saying that. Little kids are taking
little
an
kids.
oath in school. It's
Yes,
insane. It's insane.
yes.
People, so many people in the West are completely ignorant of this. They think it's just small, time. Maybe that's happening in just one school out of 100. No, this is the norm. This is what's happening here.
In
They're
every school.
brainwashed and indoctrinated into jihad right from a young age. And
Yeah,
you guys are hearing
militant,
it right
like a
from the source right
militant,
now.
militant base. You know what I mean? I've been
Yeah.
groomed to be a jihadist, to be a terrorist, to praise terrorism, to praise jihad. When someone bombed themselves, we used to say Allahu Akbar. We celebrate between the Palestinian community. If a Palestinian suicide bomber bomb himself in, for example, in Israel, into a bus stop or into a restaurant or anything, they will make a huge party, giving candies everywhere. We praise death cult. We praise the death. We happy because
That's
we're
a good
seeing
way to
people
phrase it.
getting
It is a
getting
death
killed.
cult.
It is.
It's right there in the oath.
Yes, it's
It's
right there in the oath.
unbelievable, Sandra.
Yes, and this is the thing. After that, being house arrest for a couple years, I'm not allowed to leave the house. I'm not allowed to do anything. I was forced into the marriage, and the marriage was in Saudi Arabia. I had no other option. They said to me, "You have two options. It's either you're gonna be home for the rest of your life until you die, or you're gonna marry this man." And
Wow.
I couldn't take it to be in home because my brother was like in and out, treating me like a slave, and I couldn't do anything, and he will beat me up, and he will treat me like like a maid, so my dignity, my everything, I felt like I'm humiliated.
Yeah.
I'm subdued. I'm
Yeah.
crushed, mentally, physically,
It's a
spiritually,
horror story.
psychologically.
if this
Yes,
happened in the West, it'd be all over the news. You know what I mean? People, they'd make a movie about it. It would literally be like a horror like situation.
yes.
And I think that a lot of people who immigrate to Canada, they see what's going on. They're like, this stuff is the norm back in my country. Women get tortured all the time. People get held and confined, and it's just people really need to understand that this is the norm in the Middle East. It's not like it's just something that happens, every now and then out of the blue, like it does here in the West. And what you've gone through, Sandra, hearing it, that's a horror story right now. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to be put under those conditions, not just by individuals, but your family, your
Yes.
friends, the community. Nobody's there to
The whole
support
thing.
you. And at least here in the West, that's something we can always count on. That hey, at least if people see this, if people know about it, there's somebody there to help you. In the Middle East, if you're a woman, there's nobody there to
No,
help you. You're a piece
no,
of
no,
meat.
no, no,
You're a
no.
piece of candy that needs
Yes.
to be wrapped.
Exactly, and I'm just a sex object, need to be kept home, and a guardian, a male, has to take care of everything. Has in Saudi Arabia, the women, they don't have legally, they cannot even have access to their own legal documents like their passports. They cannot. The guardian have to have it. So she cannot leave. She cannot go anywhere. No one will support her. If she go to the police will get her back. If she go to the court, I fought for my divorce over almost for like almost to 5 years. I was not like, it was not marriage, it was rape, it was like torture, it was everything, whatever. So basically when I came to Canada, it's not like, I always say to people, it's not just I study Islam or I study the Quran. I lived it. I lived Sharia law. I know exactly living under Sharia law how painful
Yeah,
it's hell,
I
especially
I can
for
only
women.
imagine. I can only imagine how angry you get when you see somebody like Iker Khalid, the Muslim MP
Yes,
who put forth motion M103.
yes,
That just you must just be so infuriated because you did
of course.
everything. You worked so hard to leave that, and now to see people in the West embracing these early forms of I guess blasphemy law. Would you
Blasphemy law.
consider M103 a form of blasphemy law?
Of course, 100% it is blasphemy law. The fact that the Islamophobia is just a made-up word, to just creeping the Sharia and just to lay the ground for people say it's a psychological game, it's ideological game. That's what we are
Mm-hmm.
facing. We're facing
Mm-hmm.
a war. It's ideological war. We don't want to go back to the 7th century when people punished publicly, head beheaded, hands being cut, being flogged,
Right.
being stoned, being, whereas like there's no secularism, there is no
No.
civilization, there is no
Right.
human rights, there is no women rights,
Mm-hmm.
kids rights, animal rights,
Mm-hmm.
there is no a
Yeah, and
violation
any
of a
attempt at
human right.
secularism or moderate Islam is just it's disingenuous. It's never an authentic form of reform or moderate or true secularism. It's always deception. And some people will say, "Oh, this leader of this country, they're secular, they're moderate." No, no, they're not. Even someone like Assad, who a lot of people were saying that he's a good leader for Syria. No, he wasn't. He's on record saying that Islamic fundamentalism is good for the country. It's good for the Middle East. He is 100% on board supporting Islamic fundamentalism, which obviously leads to women being oppressed. In particular, the woman that I'm speaking to right now, who has told her story, and it's unbelievable that so many people in the West seem to have no problem with Canada becoming more Islamified and bringing in more of kind of like a Sharia influence. A lot of people in the center or who aren't really plugged into politics, they just have this perception that Islam is basically the same as Christianity. That, hey, they both have had their problems throughout history. Sometimes they'll point to the Crusades and say, oh, the Crusades are an example of evil Christianity. Would you not agree that the Crusades was a response of Islamic pressure into Christian nations? It wasn't just an all out assault on the Middle East. This was a response of getting attacked over years. Would you agree with that?
Yes, 100%. The crusade, as I mentioned before, the Islamic conquests, we have a proven history. They reach out all the way to Al-Andalus, they call it Spain. They call it Andalusia. Okay? They say, okay,
Andalusia.
we reach it before, and we're gonna reach it again. Because Number two things that everyone need to keep in mind always. Number one, Islam do not believe in border. There is no such a thing called
Mm,
border with Islam. Number one. Number two, there is something called Dar al-Harb and Dar al-Islam and Dar al-Harb. Means the house of Islam and the house of war. As long as there is Islam existed, they will always continue the war against the house of war. What's the house of war? Any country that's not dominated by Sharia law, dominated by Muslims. Period.
mm.
House of Islam and house of war. Dar al Harb and Dar al the house of war. And that's coming
It
from,
really.
yes, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, I have to jump in there. When you say how, Islam believes in no borders,
No,
well, guess who else doesn't believe in no borders? The George Soros of the world. The
yes,
globalists that want to break down borders and flood the world and flood the West with refugees. So, as Sandra explains, Islam doesn't believe in borders,
no.
and you can see how there is this collusion between the Islamic fundamentalists, the imams, the political leaders, and the globalists to break down those borders. They have mutual interests. They are working together. And I personally believe that the end battle we might be looking at is communism versus Islam. Destroy capitalism, destroy freedom, and then Islam and communism can kind of go head to head. So that's a bit of my own personal theory
Yes, yes,
injected into that. But I think it's really important to highlight that Islam does
yes.
not believe in borders, neither do the globalists, and that explains a big part of the collusion there.
Yes, the dream of building the caliphate, al-Khilafah, the caliphate, and bringing the flag of Islam, the Raya, the flag of Islam, on top of the whole world. We've been taught this since we are like in Saudi Arabia, that one day we will take over and dominate and build the worldwide Islamic caliphate, that one word religion, the one word like
Mm-hmm.
language, the one word
Mm-hmm.
currency, the one this we've been taught this. I've been taught this in school since I was in Saudi Arabia. See how many years? And this is
Yeah.
already planted in the West. It's already planted.
Yeah.
They're ready, by the way. They're This is something that we are seeing now. It's not now. It's actually being planned. Maybe they can wait for good 50, 100 years, no problem.
They
Until
wait.
they,
They are so patient.
yes,
The Muslim fundamentalists, the radicals, the people that are
yes,
really perpetuating the agenda, they are so patient. They don't
committed.
care if they die within their lifetime and the
Yes,
end goal doesn't get to fruition or whatever. They're
yes.
willing to play their part. Again, I want to encourage everybody. Please share this video. Invite your friends. Sandra Solomon has a wealth of information at her disposal and an incredible story as well that really needs to get out there. And we can utilize people like Sandra Solomon to really bring our efforts to a new level, to show that we're willing and very much eager to work with people from various different ethnic backgrounds, people who've actually lived there, who can offer a perspective that I couldn't possibly offer. And I really appreciate what you're doing. Please follow Sandra Solomon on Facebook, follow her on YouTube. She also has her website, thevoiceofsandrasolomon.com. And go ahead and hit that notification button so you can see all my live videos in the future. Sandra, I just want to ask you something right now, just to so everybody knows. How did you leave, or did you decide to leave the religion before you immigrated to the West, or did you fully leave the religion once you got here?
No, actually, it was already there when since I was in Saudi Arabia. To me, the whole thing, it was that's it. Like I'm done with it. Like
Just done.
yeah, I didn't pray. The prayer, the Islamic prayer, and I did not.
Yeah.
I wasn't really into it.
Because
Like
I know, as you said, you refused the hijab. A lot of the things that were happening, you were questioning, but I wasn't 100% sure if you fully decided, you know what, I'm out. I'm no longer a Muslim. Maybe
yes,
you have to kind of keep that to
of
yourself and
course,
not tell too many people because you'll
of
get
course,
hunted down over there. But
of course.
now that you're safe over here in the West, well, somewhat safe.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
somehow.
Right.
With all
Yes.
these now ISIS, the door is open for them. The chances for me to be killed is actually increased right now. So I wanna mention as well the things that Imam saying here in Canada.
Right.
That's
Yes. Yes.
that's one of the things that makes me got on fire to help Canadian to understand the
Mm-hmm.
things that I lived it. I see it here, copy paste, no different. The things that I heard it from imams there, I hear it here. The things that they teach
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
there, oh, they teach it here. I'm like, seriously?
Yep.
Did I left there to escape Sharia Allah so I left Saudi Arabia to come to Canadian Arabia? What's going on here?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
basically, yes, basically that's what's going on. And let me read for you very quick, just a quick quotation from
Absolutely, please.
Imam. And this is very important information.
Hmm.
Basically, this is from ICNA Canada. ICNA Canada. I know that usually the Facebook it's backward. Online jihad against infidel. The thing, you know what bothered me the most? That imams in Canada, they say it openly. Muslim Islamic organization, it's their online, like it's on their website. Like they're not hiding
It's
it.
there for the public to see.
Yeah, they're there for the public to see and to read. The hate literature, the Quran, I'm gonna get into it now. Giving away on the
Yeah.
street publicly, like it's okay. Let me read to you very quick here. It says, yeah, this is from ICNA Canada. ICNA Canada, which is the Islamic Circle of North America, and the prince of it, the Amir or the, you know, the responsible over the presidents of the ICNA Canada, and he is the Mufti. Mufti mean he is the top of the scholars, like he is the, as you say, like he's the Pope. You
How
know
do
what I
you
mean?
pronounce that? Sorry?
Mufti,
Mufti?
Mufti, Mufti,
Mufti.
Mufti, Mufti.
Okay.
Mufti mean like if you become a Mufti, that's mean you are no one above you. You are scholar in Islam. No one,
Top
no one
Islamic
can,
scholar.
the top of the top. And his name is Dr. Iqbal Masoud Al-Nadvi. Dr. Al-Nadvi. Okay? Iqbal Masoud Al-Nadvi. This is from ICNA Canada itself. I'm not bringing like things from myself. I'm giving you with the evidence. And it says there,
Hmm.
polytheists, we are considered polytheists and infidels, which is the Islamic term for it. It's kafir. We are kafir. The actual term, the Islamic term, it's kafir. I rather to use the word kafir because that's what it says in the Quran. You are kafir, I am kafir. Everyone who's not Muslim considered kafir. It's okay, you can go ahead and use the infidel. Polytheists and infidels should be invited to Islam. And if they reject the invitation, then jihad be made against them. That's it. That's mean war. I come here,
Yes.
I say, okay, Canada, Canadians, we are inviting you to Islam. Canadians, we are
Yes.
inviting you to Islam. And Canadians are
Hmm.
not listening. Canadian, they don't want Islam. Then jihad. It's
No.
force.
Yeah.
Submit. No
Yes,
option.
that's
And
exactly
this
it.
is
We're
what,
submitting. We're not, there is no fight back. There is nobody
nothing.
who's willing to expose this and say, listen, this is what's happening. There are Canadian imams literally spreading this. It is online. You can see this for yourself. And
Exactly. And
sometimes,
yes, and we have Jihadi Trudeau, Jihadi Justin, and I give him another name, Trudeau Khomeini. The fact that he support the Islamic regime of Iran, Khomeini. Anyway,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's a Khomeini, he's a mullah too. So
He's a mullah.
yes, and this is also from ICNA Canada. From ICNA Canada, their website, it says the political system of Islam is totally incompatible with the Western democracy. That's
Mm.
from ICNA. Go to ICNA Canada,
Oh,
you can see
sorry.
it. Yeah, sure.
Sorry, I had a little
It's okay.
audio fuzz there.
Okay, so let me read it quickly as well. Some quotation from some imams here in Canada, what their view on women as well. And I hope that ladies who are listening to this video now or in future to you know to keep in mind what the imam teaching here. Um,
Yes.
himself, the top imam, Dr. Iqbal al-Nadvi, he said, Quran says you can beat your wife. That's coming from the Mufti, from his mouth.
And as you said, the Mufti is the top
Yeah,
Islamic scholar, so to say. You cannot have any more authority in terms of
no.
Islamic knowledge or authority.
Yes, and Imam Omar Sabudir, he's from Ontario. He said Allah has permitted the husband to discipline his wife by striking her.
By striking her.
Exactly. Omar Sabudir from Ontario.
And this,
Another,
sorry, that Imam is from Ontario. That's right
yes,
here in Ontario.
yes, yes. Google him, Omar Sabudir.
Yeah, I'm
And
making sure that I take notes of this as we go
yes,
along.
yes, yes, yes. Very few. And the Toronto police chaplain, which is I protested in front of the police station in Toronto after he give his statements. Okay, Toronto police chaplain. Imagine Toronto police chaplain. That's why when I said to you in under Sharia law, if I would go to the police, they're not going to do me anything. There is no such a thing called go to police and they will help you. No, there's no such a thing called call 911 if your husband beat you. There's no such a thing under Sharia law. 911, hello, my husband beat me up. No, they won't come. They won't bother. Don't worry about it. Yes, and he said, marrying 9 years old, it's permissible in Islam. Toronto police chaplain, Muslih Khan. Muslih.
9 years old.
9 years old. He said that in Saskatchewan. Okay, you can Google him. Toronto police, Muslih Khan. You're gonna see it. It's there. And what the government did? Nothing. What the police, what they did? Nothing. I don't know what happened. I delivered a letter to the the one who's on top or whatever, some authority. I delivered him the letter. We protested in front of the police station where he served. I did my part. What else I can do? I'm not gonna go inside the office and scream and fire him, please.
No.
Yeah, how can I force the police to fire? He should be fired on the spot.
Yes, absolutely.
This is violation of Canadian.
Imagine a priest was saying that. Imagine a Christian priest was preaching that. It would be all over the news. They'd lose their job, they'd lose their position, and the whole Christian community would essentially have to apologize. But when it's a Muslim imam, it doesn't get reported, and if you talk about it, you're essentially a racist or an Islamophobe. And that's why we need people like Sandra.
You just mentioned something good. Yes, you just said it as well. He's an imam and police chaplain. Since when we have a religious leader become since when we mix in Canada? Yes. If he's a priest or pastor in a church, he's not going to be a policeman at the same time. It's either this or that.
Right.
Secularism.
Right. That's a very good point. That's a very good point, Sandra.
Yes, and Imam Ahmed Qandil, he's from Montreal. Wife has to obey husband when he calls her to bed. Marital rape in Islam, it's halal. It's permissible. It's legal. The word halal, not just for the food. The word halal means legal. It's a legal. It's a political system, and that's what we need to keep. We need to stop calling Islam religion. It's not religion. It's a political ideology masked with religion. Masked.
I still consider it a religion because I just think anything
a little bit
basically
the religious ritual in it. A little bit.
Yes. But it is very much a cult. It is very much a political ideology. And perhaps it is more of a cult. It is more of a political ideology. But even something like Scientology or Satanism, I don't give it any respect. But at the end of the day, it is a religion. You know, it might be a cult more so, but I just had to say that. Yes.
Abd Hersi from Alberta, husband to give order and wife has to obey him. From Alberta. This is this imam from Alberta.
So the woman, he's saying that the woman has to obey the husband.
Yeah, all the time. And Imam Bilal Philip, he said, 50 years old man marrying 9 years old girl, it's legitimate in Islam. 50 years old man marrying a 9-year-old. It's legitimate.
Imagine what that 9-year-old would go through when she has to walk down the aisle with that 50-year-old man. A poor girl who hasn't even developed hormonally, doesn't even have the chance to have her innocence, walking down the aisle with a 50-year-old man. Just imagine the horror. What kind of life is ahead of her if that's happening? And then she, at some point, this is the thing that a lot of people have to understand. You have to justify your existence on some sort of level. And the human mind is very powerful. It's very much, it can create a story and justify what's happening and say, you know what, this is good for this reason or that reason. And this is the way things should be. And then you project that onto your kid because you've had to go through, you've had to accept it. Now you're pushing it onto your kid. And I compare it to Stockholm Syndrome when people get trapped, confined, and they have, their kidnapper and they kind of fall in love with them or they end up justifying it. It's because the human mind has two choices. Acknowledge that you're in a crappy existence and your life sucks, or try to make sense of it in some sort of way. So I just want to point out, Kitty Khan says here, listen to Sandra, people. She's telling the truth. Muslims are not here to assimilate.
no,
Maggie
no.
also says, I'm so tired of even hearing about freaking Muslims. So I get what you're saying, Maggie, but
Well,
it's a very important topic. It's very concerning for so many people, and a lot of people would argue that this is the most threatening, I guess, outside factor that Canada has to face, and it's now becoming internal. It's now infiltrated our government. It's happening
yes,
here. It's to the point where even families are lying. So I mean,
yes,
it's just something that needs to be talked about, despite the fact that maybe we don't want to talk about it. I
yes.
just want
And
to take one more comment here that I seen earlier, and then I'll let you continue, Sandra.
yeah, sure.
We do have a troll on the scene. Apparently, this Sheen War guy has been causing a little bit of an issue. A lot of people are arguing with
Always
him,
with
so
the
that's
troll.
kind of funny. There's always a troll somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a comment just a little bit back that I want to get to first. Um, almost there. Yes, here it is. This is a different comment here from Deanna. If everyone was spiritual, no religion, life would greatly improve for everyone. Now, the reason why I like that comment is because I identify myself as a spiritualist. I'm not necessarily Christian, not necessarily Jewish, or anything like that. And I truly believe that there is a God. I believe that there is a uniting spiritual force.
Yeah.
You identify as a Christian, right, Sandra?
Yes, I'm a proud Christian. I'm also evangelist, and that's how I started. Actually, I did not get into the political level until I saw the whole thing with Trudeau and all this coming, the wave, the tsunami coming. I
Yes,
said, no
yes.
way. I can't keep it. Like that was not really my plan. But I've like I start, as a street preacher. That's all what I used to do. I go to Dundas Square and with my team and Christ Forgiveness Ministry, Pastor David Len, God bless him, and we start
Mm-hmm.
doing a street preaching and explaining to people the difference of Jesus in the Quran and the Bible and all that stuff. So basically, I was focused into a minister to people and focusing as well onto Muslims as well because that corner full of it and they have the Islamic booth there and all that stuff. So that's how I
Right.
started. But then slowly, when they brought the Islamic Quran to the schools and they opened the Friday prayer to the school, that's got my nerve that I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's how
Right,
I
right.
start with the school board when I took the Quran. When I took the first my first kind of video, that went outrage when I took the same Quran when I hold it up high and I say, this hate literature and there, should not be in school. Should not be in school by all means.
No, it should not be in school. Absolutely. Just touching
Exactly.
back on the spiritualist comment there.
Yes,
What I find very interesting and positive about the, I guess, Patriot community in Canada is it's not we're trying not to make it in any sort of
yes,
way a religious war, a holy
yes,
war, so to say. And you can
yes,
have someone like yourself who is very much a Christian. You don't fight the Quran by preaching Christianity. You don't fight Islam by just preaching Christianity. Although you do preach Christian teachings and you are very much a Christian, you fight Islam with logic. You fight
yes,
Islam by combating it and promoting Western values and
yes,
just speaking pure logic, talking from
yes,
experience. And that's what I really like about the Patriot movement here in
yes.
Canada in terms of resisting Islam. Is it's not necessarily preaching
No,
Christianity or preaching Judaism. We're having
no,
Christians, we're having spiritualists, we're having
yes.
Jews, Hindus,
Atheist.
all sorts of different people coming together
Yes,
to talk about a common threat. And as a
yes,
spiritualist, somebody who can kind of see common ground with anybody who believes in God,
yes,
I don't judge and sit there and say, oh, you're a Christian, you're a complete idiot. And you don't sit there and say, oh, you're a spiritualist, you're some new age hippy dippy
yes,
kind of crap. We can find common ground there. And I do
yes,
appreciate that comment there from Deanna. Not so much
yes,
pressing religion and
yes.
the holy war aspect, but just simply the fact that we do believe in God and can we find common ground there.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. See, I believe in there is a time and place for anything and everything. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
24/7 preaching the gospel. Like when I want to go to my street preaching, I do my street preaching. When I do my political videos and explaining the Quran, I focus into that. I don't mix because I personally believe into secularism and democracy and give the people,
Right.
you know, a time to think for themselves, read forever, be whatever you want to be, as long as you respect the law, as long as you're not forcing yourself into nobody, as long as you're not. as long as you're preserving the moral values, and you stay away from the kids, you know what I mean, keep the society healthy. And we need to take care of the country itself to improve the country economically, health, the health, um, the hospitals and all that medical health. And we need to focus into other things to let people live and perish, and be fruitful, and like, go ahead and live your life, as long as you're not harming, as long as you're not forcing. And I do believe separation of a church and a state. I support this 100%. And but in Islam, you cannot. Islam is the state, and Quran is the constitution. This is their constitution. They will never
Yes.
take Canadian Constitution or the Charter of Right and Freedom of Speech. This is not their.
Never.
This is no, never, ever. That's why Motion
Never.
Immunity had to come aboard, because they don't believe in
Yes.
freedom of speech. There's no such a thing
No.
called democracy, and you are free to criticize and criticize Muhammad, criticize Quran. As see many people, how many Trudeau on Christmas, he wore the T-shirt. It says Happy Birthday, and the face of Jesus Christ with the emoji with
Totally mocking Christianity. Totally
and yet,
disrespecting Christianity.
how many Christian you saw them on the street screaming and yelling and calling for his death and calling for his beheading? Or even, did you see any violent action from Christians in any way?
No.
No way.
No.
Nowhere.
No.
Never. This is the power of the teaching of Jesus Christ. Like, we pray for people. We of course we need to speak the truth. We speak our mind freely, but we don't act violent. Doesn't bring only violence. You know what I mean? But in Islam, can he dare Trudeau to wear a T-shirt? It has Muhammad picture with the bomb head, the famous one. Can he wear that T-shirt? I have the T-shirt. I'm gonna wear it one day. You know what I mean? And see how I'm gonna do the video according to his and see how, like, dare him to wear Muhammad picture on day of Ramadan or the birthday of
never
Muhammad.
do that. You'd never do that.
Can he do that?
Justin Trudeau loves Muslims. Justin Trudeau is Islam's best friend, and he might even be a Muslim, behind closed doors. So he would never do that. But I like that challenge. Put it on him, the double standards. If you're going to kind of mock and make fun of Christianity, and you're not going to do it with Islam, whose side are you on? If you're backing motions that specifically give protection to one religion that isn't even the prime target of hate, isn't even the time target of hate crime in Canada. Jews are by far targeted more than Muslims, LGBT, the black community. So why are we coming up with a motion that seeks to quell this rise in Islamophobia? And that brings us to this one thing here I want to talk about with the 11-year-old girl. And we can get back to anything you want to say, Sandra. I know you got a wealth of knowledge at your disposal, but I'm really interested in hearing your opinion about the 11-year-old girl who just completely fabricated a story about being attacked with scissors. I know you did a video yesterday on your channel. But yeah, I think that people believe that there's this rising Islamophobia because there are these bullshit stories being perpetuated by even 11-year-old girls. So would you say that, basically this fear of Islamophobia that the left is trying to perpetuate, it's total BS, right? Like, you've never witnessed it. Have you ever experienced racism? Do you ever see that in the Muslim community?
No, nowhere. Like, since I came to this country, as I said it before, everywhere I go now, like everywhere, like we see Muslim women wearing the burqa and wearing the niqab, and no one is talking to them. We see Muslim women wearing their hijab, and no one is pulling up their hijab and calling them name on the streets. Like, as if we don't live in the same country. Like, give me one incident and on video. I want to see evidence. Give me evidence. Don't just say it.
Yes.
Show me video.
Absolutely.
Then I will believe you.
Absolutely. And they tell us if we even question them, if we even ask, what exactly happened before, what happened afterwards, what did this person look like, any kind of details like that, we're the racists, we're the Islamophobic ones, and we just have to buy their story for it. And it sucks because if politicians don't respond immediately by condemning the actions of hate, by condemning the acts of violence towards the minority communities, in particular Islam, then they're going to be called racist. So Justin Trudeau, Andrew Scheer, Kathleen Wynne, the mayor of Toronto, conservative, left-wing, they all, hearts across Canada for this poor girl, because if they don't say anything, then they're going to be called the racist. And that sucks. That is so horrible for the Canadian population that is literally being silenced on these various levels to even speak out or question Islam. So when you first heard the story, were you thinking that it was bullshit? Were you thinking this little girl's making it up, or
Of
did you think
course.
maybe there's truth to it?
No, as soon as I heard the story, I did. It was like 2 days before that. I did a video on my channel called "Where is the Peace in Middle East?" and I mentioned her, and I mentioned Malala Yousaf. You know
Okay.
the girl who got shot by Taliban, and Trudeau gave her the honorary
Yes.
citizenship, and she was saying about 1.5 billion Muslim living in peace, and I was like, Muslims, they can teach their kids, you know what I mean, to fabricate any lie to use their kids to promote Islam as a product. Look at Islam
Mm-hmm.
as a product and it need marketing. This is
Mm-hmm.
marketing. This is part of the marketing plan. Bringing even the kids. Look at the Palestinian, how
Yes.
they throw their kids in front of the muscles of, if there's war, they don't care because they believe again our ultimate dream is to die for Allah. Remember, in the mindsets of majority Muslims, if they die for Allah, they're gonna go for heaven right away. The only way of salvation, the only way of forgiveness of their sins, no matter what, because they know no matter what they do, they're not gonna be forgiven. They have to fight the kafir, the infidels, until they be killed and kill and be killed in a battlefield. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the battlefield is the earth. Remember, the house of
Yes.
Islam and the
They're
house of war.
essentially,
That's the battlefield
yeah.
for Muslim.
Yeah. They're like a monotheistic version of Vikings. The greatest
Yeah,
goal of a Viking was to die in Valhalla. The greatest goal of a Muslim is to die fighting for Muhammad. So
yes,
it's funny to see because Muhammad hated the pagans, right? He hated that whole type of way of life, but yet when you think about the ultimate goal of a Muslim, it's to die in battle. That's very much a Viking pagan kind of way of being. So it's funny to notice
yeah.
that that
That's
similarity
why
there.
even Muslim women in Middle East, in the West Bank, Palestinians, now in Syria, in Iraq, in the war zone and wherever they're fighting, you know what I mean, to build the caliphate, they're willing to put the suicide bomb on the breast of their kids and kiss them and send them
Yes,
because and also
yes,
they want to they multiply. That's the one of the reason they multiply. They make lots of babies because they know these
yes,
are the soldiers of Allah. Each and every kid they've been groomed to believe that he's a soldier for Allah and he's the fighter to defend Islam, to defeat the kafir and to protect his
mm-hmm.
religion, to protect his states, the
Yes,
Islamic state,
yes,
his land, his country, not just religious ritual on the aspect of it, but basically I
mm-hmm.
just want to finish it here with the Islamic this is very important for everyone need to know that there is the biggest threat that we have in Canada, of course beside Trudeau, ISIS, Khomeini, Mullah, all of them, but this is gonna these are like a clear to us. We can see them. They talk, they say it on the videos, they don't hide it. And I said it before, the only true Muslim and devout, they're not using taqiyya. It's ISIS, Boko Haram, Hamas, Al Taliban, Hezbollah, all these so-called terrorist groups. These are the true Muslim, and these the only one who's not using taqiyya.
Can you describe just quickly what takia is for those in the audience who don't know? Sonia Hazel actually asked if you could explain that.
Taqiyya, it's part of the teaching of the Quran, and Muslims are allowed to deceive and to lie if they are minority and they are in a land where they are under the law of that land. For example, now in Canada, and until they lay the ground, until they are majority, until they take full control, and they need to pretend that they are friendly with the kafir, with infidels, and they are here for peace, and they are for everyone, but they have to say it verbally, but they have to still hate the kafir or the infidel from their heart, and not to take them as a friend, and not to be with them, but unless they are under their sovereignty, under their power, until they take over, and then they can show the real face of Islam. And then
Exactly.
until they implement the Sharia law and take over the whole parliament building, change the constitution fully, and then everyone need to be forced
That's it.
to submit to Sharia
That's it.
Allah. And if you don't agree, you have three options. It's either you submit to Islam, or you pay the jizya, or you're gonna be killed. That's it.
Three options, and none of those are sounding good to me.
No, this is what
None
happened.
of
That's
those
how
are sounding
Islam
good to
spread.
many Canadians.
Islam spread by the sword. It spread by the sword, and the whole region, you know, like all the way 1400 years, we have a proven history. Taqiyya, that means it's halal, it's legal, it's permitted in Islam to lie, to deceive,
Yes.
until you take what
Yes.
you want. I can.
You can lie to the infidel
Yes.
under any circumstances. And I want to ask if this is correct too. A Muslim is only allowed to say that they don't believe in Allah if they feel that their life is at risk, if their life is in jeopardy. Then they can lie and say they don't
Yes.
believe in Allah. But if they're perfectly fine, if there's no violence or any threat coming their way, they can't actually denounce Allah. Correct?
Yes, this is so true. And each and every Muslim, since they are young, like this 11 years old girl, she's groomed from the house, from the mosque, that the kafir, okay, the Jews and the Christians, they will never love you until you become one of them. The conspiracy theory. The conspiracy
Right.
theory. This is, I'm
Right.
talking from psychological point of view. That's why this is the one of the biggest reasons that makes me really fully leave Islam. When analyzing Quran itself, the book, I understand it fully and I analyze it from a psychological point of view, and I fully came to a full agreement that this book, it's man-made book. This book is the root of the problem, and this book, it's the declaration of war on humanity.
The Quran itself.
Strategic plan, exactly. This is the root of the problem, and I always say it, and I will always repeat in it. And before I finish, I will tell you exactly what my next plan for the future. But let me still tell you, this is one of the hidden terrorist group. As I said, ISIS, Boko Haram, Hamas, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, Hezbollah, name it. All these, Al-Shabaab, name it. It's endless. Abu Sayyaf in Philippines, for example. These are the only Muslims, they're not using taqiyya. They say it clearly. We are here to kill you. We will dominate. Sharia Allah, Islam will take over the world. Beheaded who insult Muhammad. They say it clearly.
They're just outright with it. They're not trying to hide anything. They're not trying to stand behind taqiyya.
No.
At least that's one thing that I could say I respect about it. At least
Exactly.
they're being open. You know, it's nice when you kind of know where the enemy is. But
exactly.
Other than that, it's just ridiculous. It's absurd that
exactly.
that kind of stuff can be
but
openly said. And like
the one group, the very one group, the most danger one, it's the Muslim Brotherhood. If you don't know anything about Muslim Brotherhood, you don't know nothing about terrorism. Like this is this is the tree. That's the root. This is the tree. These are the other groups are the branches. This is the tree.
Is the Muslim Brotherhood, do they kind of have like a control over the Ayatollah, the Islam or the Iranian regime? Are they in bed with them? Sometimes it's hard to know what comes first. You know what I mean? In terms of where the money is coming from, where the real power is coming from, and that's something that I'm eager to have a bit better understanding of right now. So is the Muslim Brotherhood connected to both Saudi Arabia and Iran, filtering money in across various nations?
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit about how that works?
Organization. And when we are in the West, we don't know these codes. People cannot keep up. It's like thousands of them. How we don't know?
Right.
How can we know?
Yeah.
And you can just like, I'm gonna read briefly to you from some of the biggest one, like that being recognized as a Muslim Brotherhood terrorist, from this book, Raising Jihadi Generation from John Gondolo. And you can go to their website, Understanding the Threat. This is very
down. I encourage
book.
everybody in the audience too to write down, take down some notes, what she's saying here, do some Google searches, and really fill yourself with as much knowledge as possible. Take advantage of what Sandra has to say here.
Yes. So basically, well, he's a Marine, he's ex-Marine, he's an FBI agent, he knows what he's talking about. John Gondolo, Google him, you will find him. Google Understanding the Threat. This is amazing book. This is like beautiful, like the way he put it, and the information. Just very quickly to read to you that it's been designated as a Muslim Brotherhood terrorist organization. Um, Muslim Student Association. Does that remind you of something? Of someone? Muslim Student Association?
Yes, Samia.
Ikra. Okay, Samia. Okay, and Ikra Khalid. She used to work for them.
Okay, yes, yes,
Muslim
yes.
Student
I
Association.
thought you were being a little bit more insider with me there.
I
I
know.
was like, she's talking about Samia, but
I know Samia.
definitely.
But she's like she's not an MB. She doesn't have, you know, like the power to do whatever. Anyway,
No, no.
so yeah. Well, Muslim Student Association, Islamic Society of North America, ISNA. They are here. These are here in Canada too, in US and in Canada. And it's been recognized as a terrorist, a Muslim Brotherhood. These organizations connected to them.
So you have Muslim Brotherhood connected to the Islamic Students Association.
Muslim Student MSA, Muslim Student Association. Just put the code MSA, Muslim Student Association. Islamic Society of North America. The code SISNA. North American Islamic Trust, the bank, the money. NAIT. Fiqh Council of North America, FCNA. And you have Islamic Circle of North America, ICNA. ICNA, here you go, here, ICNA. That's here in Canada, Dr. Iqbal Al-Nadvi, the Mufti of Canada, Muslim Brotherhood.
And as you said before, the Mufti, that's the highest council, that is basically the supreme authority in terms of...
ICNA, here in Canada. ICNA. And Islamic Association of Palestine, IAP, like Peter, council, and the leader now for them run under the Council of American Islamic Relation, CAIR, CAIR, CAIR. See, changing the code, changing the name, International Institute of Islamic Thought, IIIT, 3 I and T, International Institute of Islamic Thoughts. What they're thinking.
Yeah, I know what you're saying now. At the beginning, when you're like organization. They just keep trying to mask and hide and confuse and complicate the process as much as possible.
Yes.
So that it's hard to track it. It's hard to label it Muslim Brotherhood because the technical term could be FC, or ICNA or CARE or whatever it be. So do you have... Is there proof? Is there something that we can sink our teeth into in terms of like proving that the Muslim Brotherhood itself is funneling money into these different groups or using them as kind of like facades? Is there any way to actually prove that, or is it just something that we kind of all know to be true, but we can't actually?
The Muslim Brotherhood, it's been designated as a terrorist organization in Egypt, where it started.
Yes.
Like look at go to the Egyptian you know what's going on now with the constitution of Egypt. They've been recognized. It's been recognized. In Arabic they called Al-Ikhwan. Al-Ikhwan, Muslim Brotherhood. Al-Ikhwan. If you hear the word Ikhwan, means the Muslim Brotherhood. And a few days ago I did a video about Egyptian guy. He's in Canada and he's encouraging. He's saying that Canada opened the door for refugees to come from Egypt, and the easiest people to come to Canada is Al-Ikhwan. One of the easiest, the Muslim Brotherhood, because they are on opposition of the current government, which is Al-Sisi. What was Muhammad Morsi? Muhammad Morsi, the one who before Al-Sisi, the current government of Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood, they took over the country, and they wanted to change it to 100% Sharia law, like Saudi Arabia, like Egypt. They wanted 100%.
So Al-Sisi,
he's not Ikhwan.
He's Muslim Brotherhood?
No, I'm talking about Muhammad Morsi, the one before Al-Sisi. The guy before Al-Sisi, Al-Ikhwan, the Muslim Brotherhood, they took over Egypt. They win. They got the election and whatever, even if it was fraud, it doesn't matter now. My point is they took over Egypt and they wanted to change Egypt. Even they wanted to destroy, you know, the all the history of pharaonic history, all the pyramids, all the sphinx, all the statues, and everywhere. They consider it, you know what I mean, like against Sharia Allah to have a statues.
Yeah, it's like heresy or
Heresy.
something like that. Some
Yeah.
old pagan
Story
stuff
short,
that they
and
just
they
don't want
wanted to
around
force
anymore.
Sharia Allah. They don't want secularism like a court system. They don't want. They want 100% Sharia Allah, like Saudi Arabia, like Egypt, and force every woman to wear the same black hijab cover. Imagine Egypt become like Saudi Arabia. The Egyptian themselves, they couldn't stand this, you know, and they couldn't take the impact of the Islamic Muslim Brotherhood. What they start, you know, more than 80 churches they've been burned down in one day. They start massive killing of Christians, massive kidnapping of Christian girls and rape them and video them while they're raping them and to shame them publicly as well. You know, once the Muslim Brotherhood took Egypt only for 1 year, less than a year. The Egyptian, the militant, you know, Sisi, he was the chief of the military. He took over. They put them in jail. He came, he's like, what are you freaking doing? He took the country, he put them in jail, and the army, the police, everyone were after them to their homes. You know, they closed their home, they destroyed their home, they dragged them to jail. Most of the Muslim Brotherhood are prisoners now, criminals in Egypt. So Egypt, Emirates, Saudi Arabia, even though Saudi Arabia support terrorism and promote terrorism and number one funding, yet they recognize Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization.
Right,
What else?
right.
What more evidence that we need? What else?
Yes, yeah.
And yet here in Canada, Muslim Student Association, which Ikra College used to work with them, she's the one who brought the motion M103. Does that make sense now? Connect.
Yes.
But
I bet, does the Muslim Student Association, do they admit, or is there any way of verifying that they are connected directly to
It's been recognized in
Muslim
USA as a terrorist organization. It's
the
been
Muslim Brotherhood.
The Muslim Brotherhood, all these organizations.
But I'm asking about the Muslim Student Association, because that's where we're trying to connect to the Canadian side.
It is organization that connect to Muslim Brotherhood.
Right.
Muslim Student Association.
But how can we prove that it is what I'm asking.
We have, I cannot give you all the paper, all the evidence now on live, you know, Google it and Google the information. There is the documents, there is documentation, there is proofs, many, lots of documents, lots of proof. And actually,
because I've heard the same thing. Faith Goldie, when I interviewed her before, she said the same thing, that the Muslim Brotherhood is very much attached and working kind of like covertly under the radar with these various groups. And I asked her the same thing: can we prove this? And she said, she basically said, it's something that we know to be true, but we can't actually trace it. We can't prove it. It's just based off of conversations.
No, there is evidence. There is proofs. You need to follow the documentation. This man, John Gondolo and Chris, now they are fighting them in the court in US. He infiltrated them. They have documentation to prove that they are Muslim Brotherhood. His name's Chris. He faked conversion, and he was working for ICNA, for CARE. Sorry, he worked for them, and he collect all the papers and all the documentation. And I was honored to meet him in person when I went to Las Vegas when we did the seminar for jihad and terrorism. They have all the documents. They have all the proofs to prove that they are the Muslim Brotherhood. So all these evidence is there.
So we actually have cases where people have infiltrated these different groups to kind of prove that there is this direct connection to the Muslim Brotherhood. So that I'm glad. I'm going to look into him again. What was his last name again? Gondola?
John Gondolo. John Gondolo. Guandolo. He's the FBI agent. He knows. They know everything. They're not fighting them in the court, man. Like as much as I'm not gonna have every second. I won't have all the documentation now at home with me, but there is lots of proofs and good.
What you've provided, Sandra, is amazing. Like it's really good to be able to know the sources, which direction to go. And yeah, nobody's a human encyclopedia. People could ask me questions, and it's impossible to remember every name, every date, every little
Yes.
fact or factoid, is what Alex Jones likes to call them. And
Yes.
yeah, the fact that you know all these different organizations and you're offering the information out there to people, not only from a firsthand experience point of view, but also just from a researcher's point of view. You're a well-researched woman, and you don't just kind of rely on the fact that you have
No.
gone through things that none of us have gone through. And in
No.
and of itself, that is amazing to be able to offer towards the activist community. But
Yeah.
yeah, the fact
Well,
that you're able to provide all this information is very,
exactly.
very
And
important.
aside of all that, as an ex-Muslim, okay, I know that every mosque, to me, it's a terrorist organization because they don't promote peace, they don't promote love, they don't promote secularism, they don't promote
Yeah,
democracy, they don't promote
right.
women rights, they don't promote
Yeah.
protecting the law of the land. They don't promote, they
Hmm.
promote Sharia. So to me, aside of that, regardless, it's with or without the existence of this, all this organization, each mosque, to me, it's a place where like a militant uh,
Yeah,
base.
it's supporting radicalism. It's
Yes.
supporting terrorism in one way or another.
Why?
It's support. I see what
Why?
you're saying.
Why? Because we have
Yeah.
the documents that nobody on the face of the earth can say that's not true. We have the Quran. We have the strategic
Yes.
plan,
Yes.
regardless of the
I think
existence.
I think what would make a really good video is perhaps like the top 10 or top 20 most violent, dangerous, offensive verses in the Quran, or the top 20 ways the Quran is incompatible with the West, to really
Yes.
break it down and explain in simple ways. These are definitely verses in the Bible. These are sorry, in the Quran. These are definitely hadiths, because a lot of people don't even know about the hadith, a collection of hadiths, which in a lot of ways surpasses the Quran. In a lot of ways, Muslims will adhere to hadith over the Quran. I've heard that from a lot of Muslims as well. So I
Yeah.
know that that's also very much part of the equation too. Valerie here asked says the Canadian people need to get armed any way they can and buy lots of ammo. What do you think about that? Do you think we're heading towards a state or a scenario where Canadian citizens might have to take this into our own hands at some point, and there might actually need to be some sort of armed rebellion or revolt, either against the government, either against an aggressive militant Islamic population? Do you think that's something that we may see in our lifetime, Canadians picking up arms and literally fighting against either our own government or for an invasion? What do you think about that?
Yes, I unfortunately I wish that not was that the scenario, but I agree with her 100%. People need to start learn some self-defense technique, especially women. If someone wants to grab them and rape them and insult them, especially women, they need to
Yes,
start learn. I'm actually, getting into that soon.
good for you.
And yes, and also I did went to the police station and I asked them what we can carry with us. The fact that ISIS now freely walking in Canada. What can I carry with me?
Hmm.
What's legal to me to carry a pepper spray, a knife?
Exactly.
Can I
Yeah.
take a gun? Can I walk with a freaking machine? Stuff like, I don't know, with a bomb or something, you know what I mean? Like, seriously. So the basically, that the police officer, she explained to me what's legal, what's not legal, what's considered this and that. So yes, I agree with her. Each and every Canadian, if they can afford to get a gun license and to actually obtain a gun, go ahead and do it. Of course, we don't wish that. We wish that we can win this civilly, peacefully, and preserve our
Yes.
constitution and force our law and not to let Sharia
Hmm.
law to take over this country. And each and everyone welcome to live, but they need to be respect the Canadian law, the Canadian values. But as we see now with Trudeau opening the door to ISIS, and he mentioned that we're not at war with ISIS. Like, it's what do you mean? If we're not at war with
Yeah.
ISIS, we are at war with who? Like with who?
Yeah.
Yes,
Uh, if we're not at war with terrorists, with radical Islam, with
integrating.
ISIS in particular, what that and it's comments like that that makes it easier to understand why you'd want to bring them back into the country.
Yes.
He's friends with the Islamic radicals. He's friends
Go.
with the
If he can,
extremists.
that I asked a
Those are
question.
Justin's boys. Those are his votes. That's his base.
Exactly. He's building. See, very quick. What happened to Muhammad? I did a video, another video. Please, I encourage everyone to go watch it. The title of the video, the psychological problem of Muhammad versus psychological problem of Trudeau. Same, no different. And he was helped by the thugs called al-Sa'alik in Arabic. Thugs and bandits. These are the people who give him the power, who give him the, the build the militant, build the first army, and start his
Yeah.
conquest. So basically, he's militant.
Hello? Oh, sorry, you kind of cut out there for 1 second.
Sorry, someone called me. So basically, what Trudeau is doing, it's all about Islam. It's all about 3W: war, women, wealth. War, women, wealth.
That's what they want to control. That's what they want to own and be part of.
Yeah. So that's what happened. And war, wealth, women. It's all about gaining power. It's all about dominating and make everyone people, slaving them mentally, physically, subduing them until they give the jizya and them subdued and all that stuff. So what we do, we need to please. I'm just gonna get into the things that I'm gonna be doing in the future, and we need the support. We need the help.
Tell us what you got planned for the future, whether it's upcoming projects or rallies.
Before I go, yes, lots of things. Though number one, as I always say it, and I'm gonna keep repeating it, to declare this book as a hate literature. So basically, I'm just contacting with some people. I'm putting all the documents together and building the whole thing. And hopefully, I don't know when, but with this coming few months, I'll start a campaign to call up into it's international campaign to call up into politicians, security services, intelligence, to force and to the people as well to get involved with me. A campaign to ask to designate this book as a hate literature, and it's violation of the Canadian criminal code law and violation of a human rights, and promote killing, promote pedophilia, promote anti-Semitism, promote violence against women. So this text, it should be designated as a hate literature. This is not a religious text.
I think you have a strong case, Sandra.
Yes.
I think a lot of people.
I will challenge everyone. I will challenge politicians. I will challenge imams. I will challenge the people. I will challenge anyone and everyone who's willing to challenge me. And this book needs to be designated as a hate literature everywhere and everywhere.
Yes.
Internationally.
And what are they going to say? Are they going to call you a racist? Are they going to call you a white supremacist? They can't do that. They don't have that ammunition, that weapon to throw at us in this case. And that's what I love about what you're doing, Sandra. You're putting yourself out there. You're not afraid to be attacked, whether it's by the left, whether it's Muslims in the community, and it's something that we need to encourage more Muslims to do.
You want to fix the problem, Ronny?
And let them know that there's a community here they can attach themselves with, and they're going to get tons of support. We love Sandra Solomon. I promote her all the time. So many other Patriots do too. So you might not have a home in the Muslim community. You might not have a home in other communities, but you have a home here with the Patriots.
I meant to that. I
love Canada
it.
And you're against Islamic radicalism, you have a home with us.
I meant that. You want to fix the problem, you need to address the root of the problem. If you have a bad tree, you cannot sit under the tree and collect the bad fruit one after another. You just cut off the freaking tree from the freaking root, and that's the root.
That is the root. The Quran.
This is the root of the problem. This girl, the 11 years old, she learned from this book. That's why she's able to fabricate all these that she fabricated from the Quran, because they teach her at home qataqiyya. They teach her at home that the infidels hate you. We are in Canada. There is kafirs. There is white supremacists. There are the hate, mangers. They hate us. So she had to come up. That's what they say. They say because she's facing discrimination, she came up with the story. See the psychological problem we have in spreading in this country. Anyone who wants to live by this book, this is the Constitution.
That is the Islamic constitution. The
Period.
word of Allah, Sharia law, is always going to be superior to man-made law under Islamic control. Muslims
Exactly.
view
From the verse
Sharia
of the
and the
chapter of
Quran
Muhammad, do
above.
not call for peace, Ronnie. From the chapter of
Absolutely.
Muhammad, do not call for
Yeah.
peace because you are the supreme. Straightforward from
Yeah.
the Quran. Order.
Yeah.
Don't call for peace. Don't call for peace. And
Yeah.
this is my next project actually as well. Tomorrow I'm meeting with the MB. Her name is Ruby Sahuta. I got the chance to have finally. You have no idea. That's to me. This is a miracle. Okay, so I'm
Nice.
meeting with
I
her.
can hear it in your voice. You're really happy about
Yes,
this.
I'm so excited for my meeting with her, Ruby Sahuta, and finally I got to meet her. But I'm not gonna be able to record or go live or anything. But I will do video after I finish the meeting to tell you exactly
Absolutely.
what what is being said and what's her response, and hopefully I can get something from her to help us to speak into the parliament, maybe to open the door for us somehow, for someone to hear us. We just want to be heard. That's all about it.
Yeah, absolutely, Sandra. I gotta just say, you're getting a lot of support here from people in the comment section saying that, yeah, we should actually do that. If you can get the Quran deemed as hate literature,
Yes.
actually challenge that,
Yes.
bring it to the courts. It seems like you're getting a lot of support from that, as you can
Okay,
see.
when
We
I
do
when
have
I
some
go
thumbs up
when
coming
I
up.
start my campaign, I just don't want the keyboard the supporting. I need a physical supporting.
Yes, we need physical support. It's great to have the social media support. It's amazing, but signatures actually showing up to events.
Yes,
That really is what it's all about in a lot of ways. So we
I'm into
appreciated
that.
all the hearts, the thumbs up, and the sharing. But
Yes.
when push comes to shove, we need the real signatures, and we need people to show up to events.
Yes, yes, definitely. That's my next plan, and I will take it all the way to the end, and I will never ever give up. And that's my determination to designate this book as a hate literature globally. That's
I
it. So
I support your goal, Sandra. I do.
yes, and I'm organizing as well. Hopefully, if we got the permits, I am organizing some rallies in the future. You know, when the weather get a little bit better, some rally in USA. I got connected with some people in USA.
Yeah,
With
I remember you telling me that. You're like, get your passport, Ronnie.
yeah,
We gotta go down to the States.
yes, yes. I'm organizing a rally. So hopefully, if we got the permits, we submit the papers and everything around March and the Washington D.C. To in the front of the White House. So I'm organizing this rally now with some people, some Patriot from USA, and as well, I'm waiting as well for the. I'm just waiting for permits. So I'm legal. I'm like okay. I'm legally. I don't want to like promote something and then it's not legit. So once I got the
Yeah,
permit,
you get shut down or something like that.
exactly. I'm not gonna do this to people. I respect all patriots and I don't go forward with anything before connecting with the police, connecting RCMP, connecting to the authority to let them know that we are coming. We are coming.
Yes.
We're gonna do
Yes.
it. And I got connected as well with Mr. James Pasternak. Hopefully this year I'll get the chance to speak in Toronto City
Right.
Council to
As
speak
soon as
about
you
our
talk to
rally.
him, I'm going to be eager to interview afterwards as well and see what happened there, because
Yes,
that's
definitely.
very important. If we get
Lots
shut
of
down here
lands
in
and lots
Toronto,
of
we can't do
things.
rallies. I'm going to be really pissed.
Exactly. No one can shut us our rallies at all, no matter what. We will never stop. And I call everyone who's watching now, and I call everyone, please, please, please support the movement, stand with us. We never stand alone. Together we can do it. All patriots need to be united. All the groups need to be giving, as you said, Ronnie, like where there's no such a thing. That's what makes Canada great. And that's what I like about Trump. When you if you give me, if you allow me for just
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you, just to finish off. Are you a
yes,
big
just
Trump
to finish
supporter,
it
Sandra?
up.
I've never actually even asked you about that.
Yes, no problem. I don't forget. I have a good memory. Remember, we used to
Yes, you do.
memorize every day, so memorizing it, it's good.
Right, yeah, you definitely able to retain knowledge and
Yes,
information.
yes. And so, okay, very, very quick thing that one of the things that makes me passionate to fight Sharia, passionate to uh, push this ideology away from Canada, because I love people and I don't I feel I'm a voice for the voiceless, and I know for sure 100% there's thousands of women living in Saudi Arabia or living in the Middle East or living under Sharia law. Look what's going on in Iran. The ladies, they start taking their hijab off and put it on the stick and wave it, and they don't want. Clearly, they say when I went to the Iranian protest, on the Civic Center in Toronto, women
Yeah,
there, they
Canadians
were
standing
like,
in
clearly,
solidarity
no
with the
Sharia
Iranians.
Allah for me, no hijab for me. And people,
It was amazing.
it was amazing. And people openly
It was
saying it,
amazing.
no Quran, no Islam, no
No
Quran,
Quran.
no the, openly, no, that's it. They
Yeah.
break the
One
wall of
woman, she
fear.
said, no Islam for me, no Islam for the West. And then
Yeah,
I asked her, I'm like, you don't think Islam should be even allowed here in the West? She's like, I shouldn't be allowed anywhere in the world. Get it gone. I was like, wow, I was not expecting this from the Iranian Canadians. I
revolution.
genuinely thought it was more of a revolt against the economic situation, the different sanctions, a little bit of political corruption in that. But it definitely seemed to, well, no, it definitely was.
Yes,
In terms of Canadian Iranians, a
yes,
revolt against Sharia law, against radical Islam. And that was so cool to see. It was so refreshing. I really felt
yes.
connected with that community.
It's the same concept,
I,
Ronnie. If someone fight cancer, for example, cancer survivors, you will see that most people who's fighting or speaking against cancer, the one who survive it, they educate
right.
people, right? Same.
That is such a cool point. I like that.
So
That's
the
really interesting
cancer
way
of
of,
Islam, I survived it. I am recovered
yeah.
from this. So that's why I'm
Who knows it
speaking.
better than you?
Exactly, I
Yeah.
survived it. So we were
Right.
victim, and I know how long, how can we sleep nights without thinking of girls being subjugated to child bride? How many
Mm-hmm.
girls every day? This is 50% of Yemeni girls, child bride, and many of the girls in Middle East facing the FGM. Now the government, they want to remove it from the citizenship book guide. And how many
I
women
know.
being beaten up? How
Insane.
many women being raped? How many women being like name it, all kind of torture. Okay, so
Yes.
basically,
Yes.
what I like about like as a woman, as a feminist, you know what I mean? Not the freaking psychos feminist who's putting the vagina head and putting the hijab and burqa and promote hijab. No, we need more
Yeah.
women. We need more true feminists into this movement. We need more real
Real
men,
feminists.
real
Yes.
feminists,
Real men.
real
We need
men.
alpha men and real women coming together.
Yeah, that's why, sorry, one day I said, man up, grow some balls and man up, to some people. Like,
Right.
seriously.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
change the Canadian sorry. Everywhere I go, sorry, sorry. What are you sorry for? Don't be so. Say sorry, Trudeau. We don't
Sandra,
want you. Say sorry,
it's
Trudeau.
crazy. Canadians are way too polite. One time
Apologizing.
I dropped my glove in the subway
Yeah,
and it landed near a person's shoe and I was like, "Oh, sorry." And she moved and she said, "Oh, sorry."
yeah,
And I'm sitting here thinking it's ridiculous. Two people apologizing over a glove falling on the ground. That we're
exactly.
so over polite, we're so reserved, and it's really funny. Like I would rather be over polite than not polite enough. But like you said, we got to put some balls back into patriotism. We got to put some alpha males and some real women on the front lines so that we can get the job done. Sandra Solomon,
Exactly.
everybody. She is
And
a
finally, I just
fantastic woman.
wanna
She's doing
like say
great
like
work.
the yes, President Trump to me, he's a patriot. That's what I like about
Yes,
him. He's patriot.
President. Yes.
When he imagine if we have a leader coming, the parliament say we will make Canada great again. We put
Right.
Canada first. We put Canadian
Yes.
first. How as a Canadian, how we gonna feel about it? We're gonna protect our
Yes.
border.
She'll be back in 1 second. She might get cut
So
off or maybe her
sorry.
battery. There she is.
My phone
I have
doesn't
faith in
stop,
you,
doesn't
Sandra.
stop, it doesn't stop. I'm sorry. So basically, we need a patriot. Trump, he's a patriot. He's for his country, for his people, for his land, for his constitution,
Yes.
he's for it all, and he's for the protection
Right.
and making America great again. And
Yes.
and he's the man of his word,
And
recognizing
he's not
there's
afraid to call it for what it is. Radical Islamic terrorism.
exactly.
Islamic terrorism. Not just terrorism, not just isolated, people that have gone through whatever conditions. No, it is radical Islam that we're dealing with here. And Donald Trump is
Exactly.
not afraid to say
He
it.
recognized the threats and he's dealing with it. And
That's
he
it. That's
is
it.
aside with Israel, aside with people who love their country, aside with patriots. I
Yeah.
feel like, you know what I mean? They're lucky in US, you know what I mean? They have a
Yes, I
patriot
wish we had
leader.
a Trump. I'm jealous of Americans when they say, "Oh, it sucks here. America's going to crap." I'm like, "You guys have a Trump. You guys have a hope. You actually have a president right now. You won. Be happy. Enjoy the victory. Keep pushing forward with Trump. Don't get too negative about the SJWs. Don't get too negative about Black Lives Matter. Be happy about Trump. Be happy that your economy is doing better. Your
Yes.
stock market is at an all-time high. Your country is safer, and you're headed in the right direction. And just imagine what Trump is going to accomplish in 3 more years. This has only been 1 more year. Once he gets Obamacare reformed, the wall built, he's basically done it all. You know what I mean? He is on fire. That's my opinion.
And he is the man of his word, and he's fighting for his people, not fighting his people.
Exactly. Unlike Jihadi Justin, who opens the borders to everybody, brings it. Sorry, Sandra, I have to let you go just because I have to tend to some other things, and I know you have a busy day as well.
Yes,
and we could probably talk for like 5 hours.
We finish it here, no worries.
Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure as always, Sandra, and I look forward to talking to you more in the future. We'll talk about Pasternak and the other projects that you have on the go, trying to get the Quran labeled as hate literature here in Canada. So thank you so much, Sandra, and until the next time, have a great one,
I
Sandra.
salute you, Ronnie. You're the hero.
Thank you very much.
I'm learning a lot from you. God bless you.
Bye. Okay, so that was Sandra Solomon, everybody. Canadian patriot, former Muslim, an amazing activist here. She's traveled all across the country. And in a video we did before, we talked about how she went to Israel, how she went to Poland, how she is talking to an MP here, a city councilor who is trying to get rallies shut down, trying to get what he calls hate rallies shut down, referring to the protests that I helped organize here and various other ones. So yeah, Sandra's got a lot on the go. I wanted to give you guys a bit more insight into the experiences that she had, what her thoughts are on things like M103 and the various issues that we are all facing right now. And I really enjoyed that conversation, as much as some of it is hard to hear when, she was talking about getting beaten by her brother, attacked, threatened by her brother for not wearing a hijab, for not wearing a burqa. Nobody there to help her. Society, the state, friends, neighbors, nobody's there, not even her own family. So that story, countless stories like that, but so many Muslims are too afraid to come out and say it for what it is because they face backlash from the Muslim community. They literally face being beaten, attacked, and in some cases killed just for speaking out, just for leaving the Muslim religion, or the Islamic religion. So thank you everybody for joining in. We are hovering at around like 100 plus viewers the whole time. That's excellent. That really shows me that you guys like this show, you like what I'm doing, you want to see more, you want to get to know a patriot. And that's what this is all about, is just promoting the various people that I feel are influential within the community, that have something to offer, whether they're very influential or an up-and-comer, somebody just in the middle. I want to get them out there. And hopefully I can be interviewing people as big as Rebel Media, Faith Goldie, and all that kind of stuff moving forward. And but I'm never going to forget about the little guy, so to say. I really want to connect just that average patriot out there, or activist who's doing work in their community with a bigger platform to let other people know, hey, that's a guy I could be following too. Maybe I could call him. And guess what? It's been working. When I first did the interview with Mike Treherne, people contacted him. People called him and were like, hey, man, I really liked that interview. That was great what you're doing. People have started following Sandra Solomon as a result of the video that we did before. My buddy Tib Kelly, he's more plugged in with different patriots in the movement, able to network more effectively. And I'm really happy about what's going on. So there's tons of other things that I'm going to be working towards in the future as well. But yeah, I really wanted to put a lot of time into get to know a patriot for this week. Please share this video. Everybody who's still watching right now, give this video a share. Let your friends have an opportunity to see what's going on. A lot of us have some liberal friends or people in the middle that might not necessarily be following people like me or pages, but when you share the video, that gives them an opportunity. That gives them an opportunity to see what an ex-Muslim has to say about living under Sharia law. Gives them a chance to see what other patriots are doing and follow them. And as well, please hit that notification button so that you're able to see all my future videos. And if you like the video, hit that like button, because that's what the like button is there for. And as well, if you want to support my work, go that extra mile, hit me up on Patreon, patreon.com/Ronny Cameron. I'm going to be putting up a whole bunch of, I guess, just exclusive videos for everybody, for all my Patreons to see, whether it's behind the scene footage, a little bit of bloopers. Sometimes when I do recorded videos, I'll make crazy mistakes and say weird things, and it's really funny to watch afterwards. And yeah, behind the scenes protests, private conversations, things like that. Yeah, so I encourage everybody out there, if you want to go the extra mile and support me financially, hit me up on patreon.com/Ronny Cameron and or Patreon/Ronny Cameron. And as well, what I would like you guys to check out is my YouTube channel, Propaganda TV. That's where I kind of showcase my most flavorful videos that have more of like an international appeal to them. Might not necessarily be just focused on Canadian politics. So yeah, Propaganda TV on YouTube is the place to go to find my most entertaining videos that as well are informative. So thank you guys all for tuning in again. Like I said before, we are hovering around the 100 viewer mark the entire time. That's phenomenal. I really appreciate that. And as well, it shows me that, you know, you guys really like the show. You want to get to know a Patriot, and obviously that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks again for watching, and until the next time, everybody, have a good one.